Emanating Sparks is the sophomore full-length album from Kungälv's Sweden-based melodic black metal band Voodus, who returned for a second album here, having rethought the temporal dilation of their dissection-esque sound. They've stated as much in interviews that essentially they started in a place inspired by something like dissection, and as they were rethinking their focus in Jormungand, and it was a previous group which is not directly related other than the people who were involved, but that ideal shifted over when they switched the name to Voodus, and the songwriting changed to something that was more imaginative in terms of long-form pieces that were melodic black metal in style. To me, it felt like they were replicating what Dawn was doing in the late 90s with their second full-length album, and the way that they really used repetition and a lot of more imaginative atmospheric ideas to put together very long pieces that were experiential. And this was something that was a little bit lighter. It was very much clearly related to dissection and that legacy, but there was more to it. There was something modern about it on their first record, Into the Wild. So I think it's important to juxtapose the indulgence of that record and how long and laborious it was compared to this pared down experience, which is much more focused on creating memorable songs. And it's a little bit surprisingly so. So we'll cut to a new song here, and then I'll talk more about what was great about this record and why I still think it stands out, even if it isn't wildly original. What had bothered me about early Watain as well as earlier Voodus was that there was a lot of strong melodic ideas forming, but they were in incomplete sentences. They weren't entirely consonant, or they were fragmented ideas that were broken up by interruptions that variously fit and didn't. And that's kind of less the case here. These are much more focused songs that are shorter and have a little bit more of a bite to their melodic intent. And so when I talk about this band, I always think of a dilation of the classics, in that they're not fundamentally changing the structure and the meaning and the focus of melodic black death metal, but they're tempering it and exaggerating it in different ways that both maximize and minimize its impact. And so there's something ingenious about what this band does that reminds me of kind of early Sarcasm, where they were taking their time on those demo tapes, or other groups in that style that were drawing a line that was maybe more black metal to start. And so this isn't really a melodic death metal record in any sense. It is much more focused on black metal, but there are some points of movement that do feel exuberant or triumphal in the way that you would expect from something a little bit more modern, but still focused on the source material I mentioned. For me, it really is just an enjoyable black metal record. A little bit more standard, but it benefits from that. It's got a little bit more of a clearer voice, and while I wouldn't harp on any notes of originality, I do think that you can tell when you're sitting with a Voodus record, because there are a lot of bands that play in this style, and this one has its own voice, its own spiritual connection to this music, which seems authentic, and it really is more about creating interesting guitar music than anything else. And so that's what I connected with. It feels like a metal record. It feels like one that has a long yarn to spin, but takes a direct approach this time around. So altogether, I think this is an improvement over the first record in every way. It's a much more direct feed towards Voodus's brain, and I think that's always a good thing from this type of music, because it most often strikes in that way that is intense and immediate. Check it out for yourself and see what you think. This releases tomorrow on February 28th, and go ahead and read my review for more of my thoughts and my score.